All right, welcome to the Let's Go to the Movies Movie Talk. I'm Mark Laser One, and thanks for tuning in. All right, here we go. Today's spoiler review is Scorched Earth. Scorched Earth. Okay, so we're gonna go on and get started with this movie here. So, Scorched Earth. This movie is about the apocalyptic time, where everything's getting messed up. The clouds fall to the sky, fall from the sky, and they're on fire and all that other stuff. And they call it Skyfall or Fail or whatever you want to call it, Skyfall. And what happened was it melted the polar ice caps and the water rise and cities flooded and volcanoes, earthquakes, and all that other stuff. You check out the opening and you can get all the details on that. So from what we get from that is like the remaining peoples on the world, as we always do, we come with some type of authority, some type of government, system of government. And what they decided was, well, first you got to keep in mind, the only two things that really mean anything now is air and water. And without those, you got nothing, okay? So the only thing that is considered currency now are what they call water taps, which is used to decontaminate water so you can drink it, and silver, mostly in dust or powder form, that they use to lace their breathing mask with, so it filters the air so their lungs don't get tore up and don't get messed up with breathing bad air. So those are your currencies. So anyway, the governmental authorities determine that the worst crime you can commit, the worst crime of the land of the day, is burning fossil fuels, driving vehicles that burn fossil fuels or anything along that line. So you are considered an enemy of the state or the peoples. So what they have now is bounty hunters, and bounty hunters go after bounty. And the villains that bring in, the criminals that bring in the biggest bounties are fossil fuel burners. So there you go. So that's a setup. So it's kind of like a Western meets the apocalypse. So from there, we go and we meet Gage. Gage is a female bounty hunter. She's riding along on a horse, of course. And she got a wooden coffin that's dragging along, and we find out in the coffin is a low-life piece of scum by the name of Warmack. Now, you could tell that Warmack isn't worth all that much bounty-wise, because if he did, I think she would be like turning him in for the bounty. But instead, she's, how you putting him through a little torture, because he's in the coffin and she dragging him along the prairie. Because she figures that this piece of scum can lead her to a bigger catch. And so that's what it was all about, trying to get information off of him so he can lead her to the big catch. And now we get into the big catch. Chavo. Chavo. Chavo is the worst renegade villain criminal in the land at that particular time. She's all over the place, burning fossil fuel, killing people, just downright ornery. So we meet her. Her and her band of desperados meet up with they cut some pilgrims heading out to wherever they pilgrimage, however you say that, wherever they, whatever. So they capture the pilgrims and everything, and they want whatever they got. They breathe in masks. They want water taps, whatever they can get. And they really set her up to be a mean individual. Like you got to show the audience the bad guy is really the bad guy. Okay. So and especially early on when you don't really get you don't really get to like the bad guy to where you like sympathize with him. You just want to show that, hey, this person's mean. So when they take him out early, you don't feel nothing. So that's pretty much what happened. Gage come in. She takes out her guys, and then the one girl that Chavo tried to, what did he say? She tried to use as a shield. But actually, Gage wound up using her kind of like a shield. Anyway, innocent little pilgrim get used as a shield by both the supposed bad guy and the supposed good guy. Anyway, so they had a little cat fight. They had a little fight, and then Gage wound up killing Chavo, and that's it. And so Gage, she takes Chavo back to town, to the nearest town, and turning the bounty to the Sheriff Gibbs, Rubs. Anyway, he's a real piece of work. Check out their interaction when we first meet the sheriff. And then later on, after Gage collects the bounty, we are introduced to Doc. Doc is the one who taught Gage all she knows about being a bounty hunter. So you get a little interaction between the two, and then we find out later that Gage is haunted by a dream. Anyway, the main thing about the interaction with Doc, though, she's haunted by a nightmare, but we'll get back to that. He tells her about the new villain, I guess you would call the main villain of this particular movie. His name, Tom Jackson. Yeah, like somebody you probably went to school with. So he's supposed to be like a real bad dude, he's one of those ones, just like in the Old West, you got that one guy that owns the town, and he got the men to make sure that you know and understand that he owns the town. And the name of the town is Defiance. And it's to the point where no one is allowed in his town if they are part of the authority or a bounty hunter. Those people, they get hung up at the gates. But all the scum can come from all around. So anyway, so Doc, yeah, he's a real bad dude. He's a real tough dude. Got a lot of this, got a lot of that. You don't want to mess with him, so might want to leave that alone. And she's like, no, I'm gonna get the bounty on this guy. So Gage decides that she wants to go after this guy. So what she decided to do is she decided to dress up like Chavez. Did I say that right? Chavo. What did I say? Chavez. Chavo. And so now she's gonna be the villainous renegade, and no one be able to point her out that she's not Chavo, because all Chavo's men are dead. And the other people that actually seen her up close were like her victims, so they either dead or she was able to save those pilgrims early in the movie, so they're off doing their pilgrimage. Wow. Anyway, so she rides into town, and typical riding into town fashion. If you used to watching westerns, she walks into the saloon. She, let everybody know she's big and bad. She drinking wine and whiskey and whatever. And you got to remember, they wear breathers most of the time. They breathe a little bit, take it off, breathe. So they wearing that most of the time. So most people hadn't actually seen Chavo's face, but they do know her by her hat and the clothes. So people know her by that. So that's why, she was able to pull the disguise off. Well, anyway, the main villain walks into the saloon, looking down the place, because I'm pretty sure this man said somebody on the road into town, and there's Chavo and everything, and she got a reputation, so, and villain to villain, he wanted to talk to her. So he talked her into playing a poker game, as if she didn't want to do it, because she's trying to get close so she can bring him in. But anyway, those type of things had to play itself out. So those type of things just had to play itself out. So she meets like the next night, when he insists that she stay around, as if she didn't want to stay, but she talks to the singer, the girl that sung in the saloon the night before, because it's the next day now. And they have a little story. They talk, and you can see that they're trying to set up something, and there's a setup to it. I don't know if I really want to spoil that though, but they are trying to set up something, trying to set up a extra storyline, an extra motivation to why Gage is doing what she's doing. Oh, slash Chavo. Anyway, the sheriff of the other town, the one that we met earlier, decided that he wants to go out to Tom Jackson too for the bounty. But Doc tried to talk him out of it, but he gonna put a posse together anyway, so go figure, right? Anyway, it's nighttime again, and Tom is showing how much of a butthole he really is with his girlfriend, or his forced to be his girlfriend, the singer from the saloon, and they having a back and forth. And then a guy by the name of Zeke walks in, and he says something to Chavo, because he only saw a hat down, saw it from behind, and only saw a little bit, and she passed him like she didn't. She's like, yeah, what's up, what's happening? because he knows Chavo, and now he knows this person isn't Chavo. So he trying to cut a deal, trying to figure out why you running around here pretending you Chavo and you not Chavo. So, let's make a deal. I can say that there's about that. I'll let y'all see what happened to with that situation. Anyway, around about that time, they are off to the side, but they're where you can see the saloon, and here comes the sheriff posse trying to sneak up on Jackson, and they almost had him because Jackson stepped out and they was out there in force, but Gage / Chavo warns him, and the shooting begins, and the sheriff and his boys got cut down. Well, the sheriff didn't, but Gage actually put a bullet in his head because he could have ID'd her, and he probably would have. Anyway, so hey, she she could be ruthless for a bounty hunter. Anyway, later on, she got the snooping around. She got to snooping around trying to figure out, what Mr. Jackson is up to. And we didn't tell you about Lear. Lear. This is Tom Jackson's right hand man. Big muscle, just a big dude. Look like he can whoop some ass. Anyway, he never trusts Chavo from the beginning / Gage. He never trusted that person anyway. So he figures that some things happen that shouldn't have happened, and he won't, or should I say, it didn't happen the way that they was led to think happened. So he wanted to try to see if he can catch Gage and find out what actually, what / Chavo is supposed to be, is she telling the truth or not? So they throw a little test, and they said, okay, man, this is enough of that. Tom said, enough of that. The girl's clean, everything is cool. Let's move on. But Lear, he kind of still not sure. Anyway, Mr. Jackson here, he invites Chavo / Gage to get together, a little dinner, one-on-one. And while he's entertaining her, she's Lear is looking through her stuff and trying to figure out who she is, trying to come up with something that he can use, but can't find anything. So anyway, once everything is figured out, that okay, we're gonna trust Chavez / Gage. So anyway, Jackson he lets Chavo / Gage in on his little scheme, his little plan. So you got this silver mine that nobody knows about, but them. But he needs some bodies to do the mine. So he needed Chavo to help him out in recruiting some workers for the mine. In other words, kidnap some folks. So they went out to some pilgrims that was traveling, and it seemed like the pilgrims upgraded because they had a tank with a turret. It stuck at the machine gun, man. They would just rip it up Jackson's men, just tearing them, just knocking them down. But and you know, Chavez had to be the one to be able to put down the little armored vehicle, and then the busload of pilgrims surrendered right after that. So, and we see little Kitty again. Little pilgrim. She just keep getting captured by these renegades. Anyway, she know that Kitty know who she really is. So Chavez / Gage goes up to her. You know, he said, "Be patient and keep your mouth shut." So after they acquired their forced draft picks to mine the place, Jackson and his men, they what's left of them, they gonna have like a big party, and they celebrating and stuff, and a little bird comes by and said a few words to Lear in his ear. They don't actually say, what it is, and it don't actually show you who that person is. And then Gage and Jackson was having a little meeting on their own by themselves, and that's when she pretty much reveals herself, who she is, bounty hunter, and what she there for, to bring him in, and so on and so forth, and how everything is personal, and so on and so forth. So so there we are. So she's bringing them in, and as soon as they walk out the door, Gage get hit in the head, knocked down, because Lear knew what was up. And so now we're trying to figure out, hey, what's going on? And then we find out the very person who ratted out. And you ever heard that old story when you're dealing with scum, early in the movie, it's best to just go on and just kill them. Because if you don't, they're going to come back and get you later on in the movie. And that's what happened, as we see Womack. Yep, him again. He made it through the burning clouds and stuff. Oh, by the way, when the clouds come down low, they call it a burner. So you have to make sure you got your gas, not your gas, but your breathing mask, or you get what they call the black lungs, and that'll put you down. But it's gonna take a while. So he limped into town earlier, and then he scoped what was going on, and then he let Jackson and his cronies know. So he wanted his revenge and everything. So he gonna put her in a coffin and hook it up to a truck, a little old vehicle. Jackson gonna give Womack the keys, and Womack just gonna drive off with Gage in a casket. And man, let me tell you what. I don't think I want to tell you what he actually do with Gage while she in that casket, because his original plan was to drop her off in the middle of a burner and let her get the black lungs, but a better idea came along and it messed her up. She was messed up. She was like left for dead. I'm saying the only reason why she survived was because it was a movie. So she was able to limp back towards the other town where Doc was hanging out, and Doc was like, "Hey, we need to fix her up." So we have a little a montage, or as I call it, mantas. But they have a little montage of Doc fixing her up, and then after he fixed her up, and they have a little discussion, and it's all about getting back at Jackson and stopping them, because they if they able to hang on to that silver mine, then they're gonna be able to corner the market and raise an army and basically take over the whole territory. So Doc decided to help her out, and so they do a little Batman like montage, preparing and getting ready, and so they head towards the place. Now you got to keep in mind, now Jackson thinks she's dead, and Womack, he thinks he's dead, and he think everybody she's dead, so you don't have to worry about it. The first thing they do, they sneak towards the mine, and they free all the pilgrims that was caught earlier, and Kitty and everybody. Free all them, gave them breathers and stuff, little things where they can breathe. And then after that, they went into town, Doc and Gage, and they well, I'm not gonna tell you how it all unfolded as far as what happened, but let's just say that during the course of, I guess you would call it the final act and everything, Gage has a showdown with Womack, Lear, and Jackson, and and I must give him some points on the showdown with Lear, because I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of individuals who I've heard make complaints about a smaller woman whooping a big guy. You know how they do in the movies, like so on and so forth. You know how they do in the movies. And they saying, well, ain't no way some woman that small gonna whoop a man that big, and so on and so forth. And certain characters in the movies get free passes on that because Wonder Woman, she got super strength, and Supergirl, and people in that category. But when you see all these other so-called characters, with all these big grown ass men like they do in the movies, you get that complaint. But in this movie, it's totally different, because Lear look like he can whoop some ass. So when he and Gage confront, when they had a little one-on-one time, they made it clear that she was no physical match for him, and that was what made it good, that even though she's the star of the picture and so on and so forth, they stayed pretty much realistic to what would have happened if them two would had a fight like in real life. So and she had to find another way of putting them down or beating them. And and if that is a complaint for you, then you would appreciate how they did that. You would appreciate the fact that it wasn't just a 120-pound female beating them just 220 and 230. So I thought that was well done. That was well done by whoever, the writer, director, that was well done. And like I said, You know, the main villain is gonna get away because you know that's supposed to be the main showdown. And they had, and she has a showdown with Jackson. Now, what I also appreciate the fact that Jackson is a smaller dude, you know, so she could, how you say, she could match him physically, you know, in a fight. Even though, I mean, eventually, if the dude, you know, but she could match, she matches up way better with Jackson one on one than Lear, and for them to be able to understand that, see that, realize that, and play to that, that's excellent. So by the end of the movie, I mean, you know, it's one of those happy endings. So, and I'll let you check out the ending. So I'm not gonna spoil everything. I try not to spoil every little thing and every little detail. Because if I tell you every little thing, every little detail, then what's the point of you watching? So, so what would I give this movie? What would I score this movie? I really did like this. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was well done. It's a low budget movie, but it never feel like a low budget movie. It's not a B movie. It's a lower budget movie, but it's not a B movie. Um, so I wanna give it a high score, but I don't wanna overdo the score. So I'm gonna give it a B, just a flat out B. I thought it was well done, well directed, well written, very entertaining. You can watch it multiple times. You know, you can watch it more than once. I mean, it's just something that is interesting, interesting story. Simple. It played more like a western than it did like a post-apocalyptic type movie. Even though they was living in that time, you know, it still felt more like a western. And so with that, yeah, I think a solid B, a strong B for this movie, and I recommend it. Um, I recommend it just straight out flat that this is a movie that you should check out. So with that said, that's it. That's all we have for this movie, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Or as we say, until next time, I'll see you at the movies. You have a good one.